Hi, this is Dennis with Second Chance Tackle, and an unusual one today. I'm going to ask the viewers to kind of submit some things, but my question of the day is, what is your fishing reel or tackle oddity? And so why am I showing an old Long Beach or a old Ocean City Long Key reel? That's not really odd. And even the blank that it's on, even though it's missing the bottom, is it's a bamboo, split bamboo kind of a rod, but it's not really odd. But what is odd, and I'll share with you, are three or four things that I have that I consider odd. And just be curious what your oddity is in the thing. But before we get started, I'd like to just thank everybody who's a first responder. And whether you're a teacher, a doctor, or a law enforcement, EMT, nursing home employee, essential worker, emergency personnel, whatever the case is, thank you for all you're doing to keep us safe during the pandemic. So let's get started. So the first one I picked out was just because it has the older line on it. And that line, most of the time, was Dacron or linen or cotton and the like. And believe it or not, and those that are old enough can probably remember it, the recommended procedure for fishing with this line was to remove that line after every use. Wow. I can imagine doing that with modern braid. This is a little bit... So my first oddity then is tools to take off, dry the line, and reinstall. And interestingly enough, I'm not sure that's this tool. So somebody told me along the line that this piece of equipment here, let's see if I can bring that out a little bit maybe, that this piece is for that purpose. It has a tip, it has two notches, and I was told that you would use this to remove the line. Now I imagine this is probably for smaller reels, but theoretically you're putting that line through and you're wrapping it around. However, it gets stuck right there. So I can't believe that that's what this did. And I have trouble saying that this is an easy way to line wind off. So I'm not quite sure what this is. Is it possible that it was some kind of a handheld short fishing rod with line underneath? I'm at a loss. If anybody has this tool, if they know any of the history on this thing, and more precisely, if it's something that you know how to use, well, please let me know, because, like I said, I'm stumped. It's a beautiful piece. It's hardwood. It's certainly machined and crafted, right? How do you see something like that today? But what it is, I don't know. So this is probably one of the oddest pieces that I have laying around my shop, and sometimes I just kind of hold them like that because, well, quite honestly, they're odd. I don't, but I'm thinking it's got something to do with maybe a handheld line on a short pole, but maybe not. So my second oddity really deals with how do you get the line off of this, and I actually have two tools that do that. Number two then was, how do you do that more efficiently? And a lot of folks came with a project, kind of a thing, homemade, if you will, in terms of a solution. And this was pretty simple. You had a box here. They put a little joint in it for your fingers. And a box, a dowel pin, a little bit of a working here, American ingenuity at its best, around a squared center. And you wound it. So there you go. I feel like, this is real old-time kind of stuff, but interestingly enough, it even has the old linen line on it. And then the idea was, after it dried, you put it back on your reel and you took it fishing again. I can only wish that the folks that had these reels would have done that. But most of the time they didn't, and most of the time the reels suffered the consequences of it, and such is the way it goes. Well, that was the homemade version. So oddity number two. I also had another, I believe it is a homemade version because I can't find a maker's mark on that. But I'll tell you what, folks were really good, and still are, in terms of ingenuity. And here's one that took it to the next level. I believe that there were two brackets similar to this one where these studs fell into, probably on a rack. The idea was they built a huge reel, put a little handle on it, put the pegs in, which looks nothing more than through bolts, right, on both sides. Somehow machined the circumference of this, and then it looks like these have been riveted in or peened in, one or the other, to make this. Now, I can't say that there's a manufacturer's mark on it, but I don't know if this was manufactured. And if anybody has any information on that, I'd love to know. But again, you would have these on both sides, and you spin it. I'm doing a lousy job of this, I know, but you'd spin it, and that would remove all of that line on your reel, suitable for drying, and that would be something that that you could follow the manufacturer's instructions on and play it safe with that. So those are 3 items that have to do with removing the linen, Dacron, cotton line, whatever it was at the time, taking it off after each trip, properly maintaining your reel, and letting it fish for another day. So speaking of fishing, I got a couple of oddities here with that too. I got 2, and again, I'm really interested in what the ones are that you have. So here's the first one. This is a thing called the pocket fishing pole. I don't know if anybody's seen it. I've read a little bit about it. It says catch small fry and cook up big fish tails with a snap together rod, reel, and bait kit. All right. Reel extends to 36 inches, locks open. The smooth turning reel attaches easily, and you even get some bait in here. So what do we have? We have a rod that extends to 36 inches. It retracts to 9 inches. So this box is only 9 inches long. It has a smooth reel. It adjusts for easy right or left hand operation. It's a durable aluminum zinc alloy and fiberglass, and it's rugged construction made in China. It also includes 3 plastic worms, 5 hooks, a sinker, fishing wire, and plastic bait. And interestingly enough, it was sold by Restoration Hardware. This one has a 2007 date on it, and it sold for $45 at that time. Well, those of you that watch me know I didn't pay $45 for this. I was at a yard sale. This is not one of the ones that I previewed. And it said fishing pole. And I looked at that and said, you got to be kidding me, right? So let's have a look inside and show you what it is. So here's the tackle kit. A couple of soft baits, a worm, crawfish, little jig head kind of thing. Line. You can put the line on your reel, and a little bobber. Here's your rod. This is absolutely amazing. That's your rod. 9 inches long, extending to 36. We'll get to that in just a moment. And then this is your reel. And it actually is exactly what they said it is. It's a 500 size reel. It's got 3 ball bearings. It operates very smoothly. And, you know, you can tighten the handle up, of course. And it's got a custom-made foot that's probably only going to fit this pole. But isn't that interesting? The fellow I talked to said he originally bought 3 of those. He kept them in his car, and when he passed a pond that he thought might have some interesting fish in it, he would just pull it out and do it. So let's pull it out. Here you go. It's a pen attachment. It sits at 9 inches. Each level, this is a telescoping rod. Each level comes out until it's fully extended at 36 inches, and then your handle drops down to accommodate the reel. Pretty neat stuff, right? Definitely a fishing oddity. The manufacturer says that this reel and rod combination can handle a fish up to 2 pounds. And it also said to do the right thing, kind of like back to that other oddity of mine, which is to remove the remove the line, wash it off, and then thoroughly clean it after every use and before storage. I guess they knew. And then finally, I'm going to give you one oddity reel And I've never seen one like this, but boy, isn't this interesting. I have a buddy who just kind of looks out for me for weird stuff, and this one certainly classifies as weird. This is the Arix Vic, and Arix was out on Long Island, I believe. We know them for some of the, we know them as the division of Lionel Corporation, but this doesn't say that on here. And what a design, right? You have basically single line capacity on the spool, very wide, half bale, still functioning, and turning well. So yeah, one of my buddies picked this one up. So I was just delighted to pay what he paid for that, and just curious as all get out about the capabilities of this reel, and even I guess why it would be designed. I can't imagine that casts well. It's more like a cord of string than it is a casting reel. It has a top drag on it and the like. So, so please, in the comments section, why don't you let me know what your oddities are. There's certainly been a lot of quirks and craziness in the fishing tackle business. So if you have one of them, I'd be delighted to learn a little bit more about what your little oddball treasure is. So I hope you've enjoyed this. If you have, please leave the comments. If you want to see more like this, although I don't know how many more oddball things I'll find, but if you want to see more like this, please subscribe to my channel. Certainly for the reel repairs, certainly for some of the product reviews, and every now and then just an oddball thing that catches my fancy, which is kind of what I presented today. If you subscribe, you help my channel out, and you also don't miss any of the pieces that I publish, which is almost daily now, trying to keep up with the commitment to help with the pandemic. And then finally, if you have a reel that needs service or repair, I do that by mail, and please contact me on the business card that follows. I'll be happy to provide you with that information. So please stay safe, stay well, stay fishing, listen to the authorities about how to overcome or personally take charge of your own situation with the pandemic, and stay tuned for more. This is Dennis with Second Chance Tackle. Have a great day.